Alright, books. Hey guys, how you doing? So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my latest top favorite books and podcasts. So stay tuned for that. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Apparently YouTube likes all that jazz, so you need to consider subscribing. Like the video if you liked it. Comment if you have something to say, and I'm sure you have something to say. Also encourage me to make more content and be more consistent with my videos. So definitely let me know if you enjoy the content. Also stick around till the end of the video. I have a big surprise for you guys. I can't wait to share with you. Okay, so let's get started with the first one. I didn't need to read an entire book to understand that waking up early is good for you. Like, I know that waking up early is good, and all successful people actually wake up when everyone is still sleeping. And I remember a few years back, I was watching a documentary on Oprah Winfrey, and they showed how she wakes up at 4 a.m. and she goes working out. I was like, she's a mad person. I'm never gonna do that. So I had to read this book. It's called Morning Miracle by Hal Elrod, to understand the importance of waking up early. It's truly something that I want you guys to experience if you're not doing it already. It's a game changer. It's something that will switch and change your entire lifestyle that you have, your mood, your mindset. It will help you perform better and be more productive. I even talked about it in my last video. If you haven't watched it, definitely go check it out and let me know if you like that kind of video, because it was something I never done in the past. So definitely let me know. Because I was talking to a friend of mine and I was telling him about the Morning Miracle, and he was like, I definitely can wake up in the morning, I have no problem. I was like, why are you not doing it? And he was like, because I don't know what to do. And in this book, Hal, he tells you exactly what to do. So he talks about the savers. It's an acronym, savers, SAVERS. And as for silence, meaning you spend a little bit of time doing some meditation. And then A is for affirmations. You tell yourself good things, that you're worthy, that you're healthy, that you're successful. And then V for visualization. That's where you start visualizing your future self, being successful and doing the, all the things that you want to do in life and achieving the things that you want to achieve in life. So the E is for exercise. So pretty much what you need to do is to give yourself and your body time to move and exercise, get the blood, moving. And again, a lot of people complain that they don't have time during the day to work out, and I was one of them. And there you go, you just need to wake up earlier and then organize yourself to be a little bit more disciplined to consistently do it. Because if you do it once in a while, it doesn't have that much of an impact as if you're doing it every day. So R is for reading. You spend some time reading a book or something that will uplift you, something that will inspire you, something that will help you grow. And then the last one is S for scribing. Scribing is another word for writing. So this is where emptying your chatter, all things going on in your mind, rather than just holding them in your brain, you just actually write them. You sort of like get rid of them. Or you could do morning pages like Tim Ferriss talks about in his book. You can write about great things in your life and what you're looking forward to and what you're desiring, and you're enhancing all those objectives and goals that you have. So this is a way for you to let your brain and mind speak freely without any censorship. Because sometimes we don't want to talk to other people about our goals and dreams because we don't want to be judged, or just because we don't feel like doing it. Alright, so the next book is more businessy kind of book, and it's called Story Brand by Donald Miller. So this book is really interesting. in the marketing world. If you're looking to market your product without being too salesy and pushy, definitely read this book. It's just going to give you all the information that you need to structure your thoughts when it comes to selling your services, selling your product, or even if you are looking for a job and you want to position yourself in such a way that is really appealing to the employer. After reading the book, you will understand that everyone, pretty much all companies, all advertisers, all movie makers, they follow pretty much the same script. And this is what's really interesting, is that in every story, because a story is also about selling. So when you buy something, it's because you love the story about that brand, or that it's not always because you need it. Sometimes it's appealing. There is always a hero, a villain, a why, and many other things that you need to be aware of to structure your thoughts and structure your script, so that you can actually sell your products and services in such a way that people would actually want it, rather than you pushing it and brainwashing people to buy it. So it will give you all the basics that you need to know in order for you to sell a little bit more comfortably and in such a way that people will come to you because you're there attracted by the story that you are communicating. My next recommendation, and then we'll move to the podcast afterwards, is The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. Sometimes you have a loved one, whether that is your spouse or your mom or your sister or your brother, or but the book talks more about marital relationships, but I think it applies to any sort of like love relationship. You spend a lot of time with that person, you show your love to that person by buying them expensive gifts, and then you see they're not doing the same for you. So at their birthday, you're buying them the most expensive gift, but at your birthday, you get something lousy, if you get anything. So according to Dr. Chapman, the problem here is that you guys have different love languages. The way you communicate your love to that particular person is different from the way that person communicates their love to you. Which means, although you may be speaking the same language, you're not actually speaking the same dialect. That's why a lot of people are so frustrated in love relationships, because they're like, why, they don't get me, and you're trying to force your way onto the other person, and the other person is not getting you. So there's a lot of confusion. So if you want to develop your personal relationships, I think this book will be really, really helpful. It will actually help you understand the other person, be in her shoes, and at the same time start speaking their language. Because what's important to you is not necessarily what's important to them. So the 5 love languages by Dr. Chapman are words of affirmations, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and the last one is physical touch. So you see, like 5 ways we can express our love to our loved ones, and each one of us sees one of these 5 more important than the other. I'd love to know, what is your top love language? How do you like to receive love from people, and particularly the loved ones in your life? Alright, so now let's move to the podcast. The first one is the icons. It's Alex and Mimi Icon, whom I have been following for many years. I saw their journey as business owners of Luxy Hair, and early on this year they sold the business. So they started from scratch and they built like a multi-million-dollar business. I find their story really interesting because both of them are immigrants who moved to Canada, and then that's where they met, and then they started a business out of nothing. Also, now they've started a podcast, and I find the guests they bring on really interesting. Why? Because they actually go very deep. It's literally like me being there with the guest and asking all the questions I would want to ask that person. So if you're looking for some inspiration and at the same time to go deep in topics, definitely check out this podcast. It's great if you're like commuting or you're traveling your car or you're working out, and it's just a good listen to. I find them really interesting. Another podcast that I listen to quite often is Akimbo by Seth Godin. And Seth Godin, he's a marketing expert as well as an author of, I think his famous book is Lynchpin and The Purple Cow. And it's eye-opening because he sometimes talks about things that I never ever thought about. Like the other time he was talking about a fridge. He was imagining a fridge that would actually communicate with the supermarkets and the food providers to let them know that I may need the broccoli or tomatoes so that there is no waste in society, and a fridge that would actually tell you what you should eat and what you should not eat, so like a smart fridge. Seth talks a lot about cultural issues, in which case they impact society and they impact the way we sell and market things, and basically everything is interconnected. And I love this podcast because he goes, again, deep in short amount of time, not like Femi and Alex where I could take an hour easily, but these are much shorter. I definitely learn a lot from Seth, and it's really eye-opening to what's going on in the world. My next favorite podcast is one that you should listen to, but you should never ever be in a hurry, because some of these podcasts actually last 2 hours, which is hilarious. Yeah, so Tim Ferriss, he has his own approach. He's the author of the 4-Hour Work Week, the 4-Hour Chef, the 4-Hour Body, the Tools of Titans, and I think another book, I can't remember what it was. But basically, Tim Ferriss always hangs out with the best of the world and the world's champions in particular areas of life, whether that's sports or music or, I don't know, engineers, scientists, activists. He hangs out with the best. So if you want to hear from the best, who are not necessarily famous people that you see on People magazine or on social media, but they're really the best in their fields, check out Tim Ferriss' show on the usual apps. There are always takeaways from the podcast. I highly recommend you this one as well. Alright guys, so that's it for my video today. I hope you will check out the books or the podcast. Now, one thing to remember is that I consume a lot of information, but at the same time, I know when to say stop and pause, because I have a membership with Audible, which allows me to have at least one book a month with my membership. But like this month, I still haven't used the last credit that I have because I need time to digest all the information that I've been absorbing recently through all these books. And when you read something and you find it interesting and appealing to you, what do you do with it? You need to apply the learnings. It shouldn't just be theory. This is why I urge you to read the books and listen to the podcast, but at the same time to know when to pause, because your brain needs to process all the information, digest it, and filter it, and at the same time apply it, because reading without application is useless, right? Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Definitely let me know what you think down below. Also, I have some big news for you guys, is that I have created a free course for you all. So many of you actually wake up in the morning not knowing what you should do. Should you work on this or that? You have this confusion. realized I needed to sit down and create a course that will take you step by step to finding the solution and the answer to your questions. So check out the link down below to sign up for the course. It's free. You won't have to pay anything, but I beg of you, please, please, please do the work. Do the work, because if you're just gonna watch the course and then close the window and go home and, Netflix, it's not good. It's not good for you. It's not good for me, because I put in a lot of effort into it. So please, if you decide to sign up for the course, sign up, do the course, and then come back to me with comments and feedback of how you felt and how it's been going for you. All right? You promise me that? Okay, cool. All right, thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.